Every day probably you discover something. I was not a player. I stopped very early when I was 17 because they offered me to try to become a coach. Okay? So I never experienced what many colleagues who have played a high level have experienced, you know, the feeling into a locker room before a big game. That's something that I try to learn every day from my players, to see how they behave, how they react, how they think. You see, most of the talented teams play extremely simply but extremely efficient, with a lot of attention to the details. I've been in many Final Fours, and one play was to skip the ball for a one-on-one or for a two-man game with the four-man. Or pass the ball here for a post-up action. We were playing, honestly, that team was very athletic and with a lot of shooters and with a center who can attract a lot of attention from the defense. The game is decided by what you do in recovering after a missed shot or after a turnover. In team sports, we always have a tendency to think that everybody think in terms of team. We, which is very important. But we is made by a lot of I's. And first of all, I need to do well my job. I need to stop my man. I need to make sure that I don't become a liability for my teammates. Let's say you have a player here. Let's say you have a player here. Let's say a player here. And there is a pick and roll here, what coaches call a pick and roll going in, okay? So the offense is going like this. This player will probably roll like this, okay? So now there will be this defender will be here. This defender will probably be here, correct? So when especially against a drop defense, this player will do what we call the shift. So we'll come here to help, okay? Now, this player will probably cover two players at the same time, correct? So you can do multiple things to what we call attacking the shift. The shift is this one. One that I like a lot, very common way, is to cut this player like this, okay? I always liked to work also on this. Screen your own man and slide this man here for a shot. So if this defender is helping, he cannot get back here. The only one who could go there is this one, but my teammate is doing this, you know? So it's very simple, but it requires time to practice and to get accustomed one to the other. I'm not a big fan of the games. The games are always painful, I would say. I'm really envious of those who say that the game is fun. The game itself is fun for the players, not for the coaches.